Which team making the move to the Big Ten or SEC will have the most difficult challenge this upcoming season? Four Downs brought to you by Dynasty Pools and Spas. And do want to remind you that you can stop by and just say hello. Off the Hook Sports sent me, you got to celebrate 98 book for me or a t-shirt. That's what they will do for you. Coop, let's get to Four Downs. What do people need to do to take advantage of the fantastic segment we know is Four Downs, brought to you by Dynasty Pools and Spas?
Cooper Mays here. Hit like and subscribe.
All right, here we go. First down, Coop.
Coop here. First down.
All right. We got 6 teams: Southern California, the University of California, Los Angeles, Oregon, Washington, Oklahoma, and Texas making a move to a big-time conference, one of the super conferences. I should just go ahead and work in there. Maybe that'll become a thing. First down is this. Who has the toughest transition?
The toughest transition to me is going to be Oklahoma because of their SEC schedule. They have a brutal the SEC welcomed Oklahoma and said, hey, here's the toughest schedule possible because we want to make sure Texas has the easiest schedule possible so we can, sell the idea of Texas in the SEC. Just on a side, putting SEC media days in Dallas, giving Texas the easiest schedule. Doesn't it feel like Greg Sankey is trying to rig the season to make sure Texas has a standout year as the big market team in the SEC now?
We're somewhat going to get to that. I'm going to say that. That's fine. That's fine. Any of the West Coast teams, basically. And I would have said either of the SEC teams, but they proved they were good last year, right? So I don't think they're going to step in. What's that?
Oklahoma didn't prove they were good.
Oh, no. They did the year before. My point is they proved they were competent. They were so bad 3 or 4 years ago that I didn't think they could step into the SEC and do much of anything. Point is, I just kind of changed my take on that. I'll take the West Coast teams having to go. I'll take any of the 4 having to go all the way out east to do everything in athletics. Second down, Coop.
Cooper Mays here. Second down.
So who has the best layout for this upcoming season? You think it's Texas? I can't argue with that.
Yeah, it's Texas. And I apologize, guys. I spoke out of turn a little earlier because I figured we were going to go to who's going to have the easiest. It's going to be Texas because the SEC is rigging it for Texas. The other part, though, I will say...
strong word.
No, they are straight up rigging it for Texas. Look at the schedule they gave Texas.
Okay, hold on. Let me get to third down because this is going to be Texas, all right? Third down.
Tennessee center Cooper Mays here. Third down.
Does the SEC want Texas to be better more than any other team? In other words, would they rather Texas win a championship than Alabama, Georgia, Florida, Tennessee? Is that true? And yes, the message board asked, is Caleb expecting? Yes, he is, but he hasn't put on a pound. Go ahead, Caleb.
Yes, the SEC wants Texas to be good.
That's crazy.
Everything they're doing is to promote Texas. They put SEC media days in Dallas. They gave Texas the easiest SEC schedule possible when they gave the random schedule strengths this year. I have never seen a team enter a conference and get everything handed to them. I swear the SEC borderline may allow them to bring the Longhorn network back the way they've gone all in with Texas. I mean, it is insane.
It'd be SEC Network 2.
They're kowtowing to Texas the way the Big 12 was kowtowing to Texas for years, okay?
Did you see the logo, by the way, for the new SEC ESPN?
I did not.
Okay,
is it good?
We'll pull that up then, and we'll get to fourth down. Here's the thing that Caleb's not telling you is that Texas being better is actually better for the SEC, but he just glosses right over that.
Of course it is, but that's why they wanted to be better.
Stop by Dynasty Pools and Spas, pick up that free Celebrate 98 book, or pick up the t-shirt and just say hello. And then don't forget to get registered on Hooker's Corner. It's on the message board. And if you're registered, you can win a fantastic prize that we will be able to announce tomorrow. 1 minute, then I'm going to tell you why Texas needs to be great for the SEC to reach its utmost potential. The best thing about Dynasty Pools and Spas is that they've got it all taken care of. What does that mean? Well, you stop by their showroom and check out their fantastic selection of top-notch spas in that showroom in Athens. Make your pick and get ready, because Dynasty Pools and Spas delivers within 125 miles of that location in Athens, that fantastic showroom. They've got the cover lift, steps, chemicals, and everything you need. Delivery at no extra charge. They're just down the road in Athens. You pick the spa you want, and it'll be there for you. Oftentimes discounted with military and first responders discounts. Also blemish models, or just mention Off the Hook Sports. That's Off the Hook Sports for $500 off. There's a discount for you on spas made right here in East Tennessee. Support local. Dynasty Pools and Spas also has the best chemicals for you and your spa and your pool. No fillers, just the chemicals made right here in East Tennessee. Support local. Dynasty Pools and Spas, $500 off if you mention Off the Hook Sports. $500 off if you mention Off the Hook Sports. Dynasty Pools and Spas, dynastypoolsandspas.com.
All SEC center Cooper Mays here. 4th down.
Is the SEC better if Texas is elite?
Yes, that's why they're rigging it for Texas. They want Texas to be good.
Thumbs up.
Now,
I ask you too easy of a question.
Now, I want to get back a little bit to this for a minute, because I did say, as far as the other team that'll have the easiest time transitioning, I think USC will actually work out in the Big Ten. That's why I kind of disagree with you. I think that Lincoln Riley offense will catch a lot of Big Ten teams by fire. Look, guys, the data is out there, and you can say what you want about Michigan most recently winning the national title, but the SEC and the Big Ten are two super conferences, but one conference is deeper than the other, significantly so, with NFL talent, with recent championships, and everything like that. The Big Ten is catching up, but there is still a gap. So I think USC will have a more fun time with there are a lot of slow defenses in the Big Ten that USC is going to light up. I also spoke out of turn because I just want to get back to real quick the team that'll have the toughest ride. I do think Washington is going to have a really tough go in the Big Ten, but it's also because they're changing coaches. And I think they got really lucky in Pac-12 play last year.
Would you rather make that trip, all things being equal? Let's say this was a super Pac-12 that absorbed USC and UCLA. What's more concerning about you? The level of football play in the SEC, if you're a team choosing a conference, or that goofy travel schedule that they're going to have to endure?
I think because of the 12-team playoff, the goofy travel schedule. I don't think the level of play holds you back as much anymore because of the 12-team playoff. You can be 6th in the SEC and you might actually get into the playoff in the future. So I think I think Texas is good enough to be 6th in the SEC, or 5th or 4th, and Oklahoma is good enough for a top 4 finish in the SEC. If you had a 12-team playoff, Texas A&M and Missouri would have had multiple playoff appearances since joining in 2011. So I do think the travel schedule for the West Coast teams is more of an issue. But the good thing for them, Dave, and this is a big part of it, is, oh no, I take that back. Eastern time zone goes all the way through Indiana. So half the Big Ten is on Eastern time. So I would have said that that's Central time, so it's not as bad. But nope. It goes all the way through. Because I would have said that Eastern time zone teams are like Maryland and Rutgers, and they're the bad ones, but they're not the only ones on Eastern time zone. So
what are fair expectations for Texas in year 1, year 5, and year 10? I saw a pretty good football team last year. So I think the expectations are this. Out of 5 seasons, if you're the University of Texas, you should make the college football playoff 4 out of 5 years, and you should make a championship game run 1 out of 5 years. I never say you should win a championship, very rarely, Caleb, because I know that the ball can bounce the wrong way, and sometimes, even though it doesn't happen a lot in football, the lesser team can win. But I will say you should make a championship game appearance, and you should make the college football playoff 4 out of 5 years. Now, with Tennessee, because they don't have the in-state talent to give you a backdrop personally to judge this, I got Tennessee should make the college football playoff 3 out of 5 years and should make the Final Four at the very least once out of those 5 years. Comparing the two, am I fair? Does that make sense at least?
That's fair.
Or too fair.
In an NIL age, it's hard for me to say Tennessee shouldn't have the same expectations as Texas, only because look, there's a couple of things. One, guys, I'm sorry. I'm going to keep saying it. Texas high school football recruiting is massively overrated. You can track it. Okay. It is really, really, really overrated.
Okay, but really overrated doesn't mean
not great.
Really
it's still
good.
Great.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So if it's 10th instead of second, that's still pretty good.
That's still pretty good, but it's not like Texas
in the union.
It's not like Texas isn't going to compete for that high school football talent, though. Oklahoma's going to come in and take guys. Texas A&M is still going to take guys. I'm going to be honest. Arkansas's got that Jerry Jones money coming in. Dave, don't be surprised if in a few years Arkansas starts going into Texas and plucking out players the way Oklahoma's been doing. They used to do that.
Please don't bring Jerry Jones ever again on the program.
Well, Jerry Jones, unlike the Cowboys, doesn't have to make personnel decisions for Arkansas. He can just write checks. And
he's actually okay.
Although, to be fair, Jerry Jones will try to make personnel decisions, won't he? Knowing him, he'll come in and be like, "Go recruit that guy."
There's no question. Dak Prescott will be your next head coach for the Arkansas Razorbacks. The year he leaves the NFL, there's no question about that. Well, the difference between that's so interesting to me is Oklahoma and Texas, based off their legacies, their heritage, will be relevant. Arkansas and South Carolina, they were picked up not necessarily because of television ratings. They just thought it made sense to have a 12-team conference. Now, they will tell you, and I saw an interview with Roy Kramer and Jimmy Himes where he said, no, we weren't thinking about an SEC championship game. I'm like, oh, bull. Yes, you are, because they found a little loophole in which they were able to do that. So I think the goal was to get to that and make that much more money.
Shameless plug. I did a whole video on the history of conference championship games and how they came about.
Right. So
channel.
That's what they put that in the message board if you can, because people need to check that out. Be sure and hit the like and subscribe button because Caleb's got some long form stuff that you're going to be blown away with. But Arkansas and South Carolina were brought in to be fodder. They were brought in to be tackling dummies. They were brought in to be more sellable as a 12-team league. Oklahoma and Texas, man, they're coming in to compete. I mean, they want it to be like, do you remember, was it the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Carolina Panthers that got so many crazy benefits on the front end that they were like really good and really relevant in the first year? Do you remember that? Tom Coughlin was their head coach, and they gave them like an extra first-round pick and all that sort of thing. That's what the SEC is going to do for Texas and Oklahoma, and maybe, according to Caleb, already has, because they want them to be competitors from the get. This is not just expanding the conference to expand the conference. They want the product to be better, which is why I've long backed the move.
I think they're doing it for Texas. Dave, look at it's the opposite for Oklahoma. Look at Oklahoma's schedule. That is a brutal schedule. It's so brutal. It's so brutal. The rig job is in against Oklahoma. I don't know what they have against Oklahoma.
Why would you rig things against Oklahoma? And by the way,
you tell me. Yes. Their schedule is so brutal. Now, maybe they think this is the possibility is maybe insiders believe what you and I believe, which is that Brent Venables is not a good coach, and they want to fast track the firing of Brent Venables to force him to make a good hire so they can get good again. So that's why they gave them a tough schedule. Maybe they're thinking that far ahead.
Things like that.
Wait. That is why they get. Do you know who else got the most brutal draw?
Wait on me.
Florida has the most brutal schedule in the country this year. You don't think they're trying to fast track the Billy Napier firing so they can get somebody in there to make Florida good again?
I don't think the SEC gets involved in the hiring and firing and fast tracking and slow tracking and all that stuff. I can't go with
David. Come on, it's crazy conspiracy Caleb time. Okay, crazy Caleb conspiracy time. Let's do it.
Okay, so you go ahead. Here we go. Crazy Caleb.
That's crazy.
The SEC is setting up the schedules to help prop up teams that will be good, that they want to be good, and fast track the firing of coaches at programs that they want to be good as well. They know Brent Venables can't coach. The world knows that Billy Napier can't coach, but they want Oklahoma and Florida to be good. So they're trying to fast track those firings right now. They use total discretion to set these schedules. Nobody saw it. Alabama got a brutal draw too. That was revenge on Nick Saban for strong-arming the whole league out of doing a 9-game schedule. That's why Alabama did it. But yes, Florida and Oklahoma, there is a rigged job against those two schools because they want those two coaches
fired.